Well, with the Olympic oops known as the Rio 2016 Games on the horizon, I think it's time to weigh in on the issues surrounding these games. For an Olympic program that includes around 40 aquatic events to be held in local waterways, they've chosen a locale that has some of the filthiest waters in the developed or semi-developed world. On top of that, you have to look past all of Rio's issues with crime to even consider hosting the games here in the first place. Alright, fuck it, let's get into this. I'd like to direct you to this article from the National Post, titled, "Don't Put Your Head Underwater. Athletes who ingest just 3 teaspoons of Rio water risk getting violently ill." Now, the article's byline on the National Post Facebook page noted that the choice the Rio athletes faced was between potentially dangerous water or missing out on the Olympic Games, which they have trained their whole lives for. Considering the evidence, the water is not potentially dangerous, it is absolutely dangerous. Enough of the semantic argument, though, let's check out the article itself. So, to quote it, "The waterways of Rio de Janeiro are as filthy as ever, contaminated with raw human sewage, teeming with dangerous viruses and bacteria." End quote. So, the Associated Press conducted a study that took place over 16 months, and it indicated that athletes ingesting just 3 teaspoons of the tainted water will be almost assured to contract stomach and respiratory illnesses and even some heart and brain inflammation. Sure, they qualify the study's findings by saying that the chance of an athlete falling ill still depends on their immune system, as it would with any infection or illness. But let's be fair, these games could have been held in such cities as Madrid, Tokyo, or Chicago. Now, it's important to note the final decision on the location of the 2016 Games was announced on October 2nd, 2009, meaning that Rio de Janeiro has known for just shy of 7 years that they'd be hosting the Olympic Games, and yet the waterways where around 40 events are going to be held are still absolutely filthy. I'd love it for someone to try and make the case that neither Madrid, Chicago, nor Tokyo could possibly have presented better conditions for the athletes in these aquatic sports. Yeah. Not going to happen. Now on to just the general dangers. It's not just the aquatic athletics suffering from Rio de Janeiro's utter failure to prepare for these games. There have been plenty of reports of athletes being targeted by criminal elements in Rio, a city that has a storied history of murder, kidnapping, and even human trafficking. So why is it that we're sending tens of thousands of athletes and support staff to a city like this? Well, we could always take the words of the late Robin Williams for some comedic context. In the words of Williams, "It wasn't really fair. Chicago sent Oprah and Michelle. Brazil sent 50 strippers and a pound of blow." Do you think the Olympic Committee was going, "Oprah? Shaved pussy. Oprah, would you? Okay, we're going to have to go this way." Now, I'm not going to claim that this was actually the case, but I will say that it seems rather fishy that Rio won out over such amazing cities as Madrid, Tokyo, and Chicago in much more developed nations like Spain, Japan, and the United States of America, where the infrastructure to correct any issues in those cities actually exists. This decision was unfortunately cemented, and now we have to deal with the fallout. Speaking of fallout, another major issue regarding the Rio Games has been the Zika virus. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Zika is a virus with no known vaccine or cure, spread primarily by mosquitoes. This can cause fever, rashes, joint pain, and red eyes, along with muscle pain and headaches, but the real threat here lies in its transmission to women who are pregnant or who may become pregnant. Why is it so dangerous in regards to these women? Because it's been known to cause very serious birth defects in the children of these women. Defects like microcephaly, which is the state of being in which a newborn's head does not develop to its proper size due to an underdevelopment of the child's brain. So, here's my overall opinion on the Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games. This has become the greatest Olympic clusterfuck since the '72 Munich Olympics. Yep, I'm bringing the Munich massacre into this. 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team were massacred by Palestinian terrorists in 1972. How can this be juxtaposed with the current situation? Well, not only is express kidnapping a huge issue in Rio de Janeiro, An Olympic jiu-jitsu athlete has already been held at gunpoint and forced to take out money from ATM to pay for his own ransom in this variety of kidnapping racket. But the murder rates in Brazil have made it the murder capital of the world. Oh, not to mention that the internet has made self-radicalization a serious threat around the globe, as Islamic terrorist propaganda magazines are downloaded by the tens of thousands around the world. Personally, I'm hoping for a miracle to guarantee the safety of the Rio athletes, but I would much prefer it if Canada simply backed out of the Rio Games in the hopes of sending the message to the IOC that cities will need to be chosen much more carefully in the future. So yeah, fuck these games, fuck the IOC. The international community is better than this. Have a good one.